What's going on, car family? I'm Ben Wayne. Thank you for joining me in another video. Today, we are here at Atlanta Classic Cars to take a look at the all-new 2018 Mercedes-AMG E63 S Launch Edition. Now, we've done a full technical review on the Mercedes-Benz E300 sedan, so if you have not seen that video yet, I strongly urge you to check it out. But today, we're going to focus on this vehicle, which has been finished in a beautiful Designo Night Black Magno paintwork, and it features black Napa AMG leather on the interior, along with yellow contrast stitching and high gloss carbon fiber accents. So today, let's take a look at the interior and exterior details of the all-new E63 S and see how this ride has been engineered for excellence. One of the first aspects of the E63 that I would like to hit on is this vehicle's body structure. Up to 40% of the body structure has been composed of aluminum. The remaining percentages go to high-strength steel and ultra-high-strength steel. Now, in addition to the aluminum used throughout the car's body structure, this car does also have quite a few aluminum body panels, such as the hood, front fenders, doors, and trunk lid. The extensive use of aluminum for the E63 helps decrease the overall mass, while also increasing the vehicle's efficiency. Taking a look at the front of the vehicle, you will notice your headlamps feature multi-beam LEDs. Coming over towards the center, the Panamericana grille has been incorporated into the E63. Now, it's a little more subtle when compared to other AMG models such as the AMG GT, but the Panamericana grille pays homage to the 300 SL that won the Panamericana road race back in 1952. Further down, you'll notice gloss black accents on your front splitter and A-wing. That's part of the night package, which also incorporates side view mirrors, window surrounds, side sills, and a rear diffuser that have all been finished in gloss black, thus adding to the car's overall aggressive appearance. Let's take a look at the rear of the E63 S. So one of the first aspects you will notice is that a spoiler has been incorporated onto the aluminum trunk lid, and that's going to provide additional stability at higher speeds. Now, before we proceed with the rest of the rear, can we just take a second to appreciate the AMG Night Black paintwork? It's not just the flat black paint. There have been blue and green flakes incorporated into the paint, and it makes this car look stunning from absolutely any angle that you look at it, especially when the sun hits it. Taking a look at the tail lamps, they feature the Mercedes-Benz Stardust effect. It makes the tail lamps look like it's been composed of a powder of smashed crystals, and it looks really cool when light hits it. Further down, you have the AMG Dynamic Exhaust, which features flaps that open and close depending on what driving mode you're in, and that really escalates the sound of that bi-turbo V8 up front. We'll get to that a little bit later in the review. Now that we have covered some of the design aspects of the E63 S, I think we should hop into some of the details that directly impact driving dynamics. And we should start off with the suspension. So the E63 S features a four-wheel independent suspension. Up front, you have a 4-link front axle, and in the rear, you have a 5-arm multi-link design. Both have been composed of forged aluminum components to keep the mass to a minimum. In addition to that, the E63 S also features an adaptive air suspension. Each spring features 3 air chambers that can adjust independently based on road conditions and driving mode. Now, I do want to make mention that the front and rear axles of the E63 S are exclusive to the E63 S. They're composed of forged aluminum components for a reduction in overall mass, but also increase the vehicle's rigidity. Now, wheel locations have been optimized to increase negative camber, and that provides you with increased stability during high-speed cornering. Now, it wouldn't be right for me to do a presentation on the all-new E63 S without addressing the 4MATIC Plus all-wheel drive system, as that seems to be all the rage right now. The 4MATIC Plus all-wheel drive system is able to deliver 100% of the torque to the rear wheels, but can also deliver the torque to the rear and front wheels depending on what driving conditions demand. It is controlled by the use of an electromechanical coupler between the front and rear axles, which monitors lateral and longitudinal acceleration, road conditions, and current driving mode. To activate drift mode on the 4MATIC Plus system, what you would do is use the AMG Dynamic Select button and go down to race mode. From there, you deactivate your electronic stability program and then pull back on both the left and right shift paddles and then you will be placing yourself into drift mode, which will deliver 100% of the torque to the rear wheels. Let's focus on the wheel, tire, and brake setup of this particular Edition 1. This Edition 1 features 20-inch AMG forged cross-spoke wheels. They are shot in Pirelli P0s that are 265 up front and 295 in the rear. Your brake rotors are carbon ceramic up front. They are 15.4 inches in diameter and grasped by 6-piston calipers, and in the rear they are 14.2 inches in diameter. The carbon ceramic brake rotors on this vehicle are about 20% lighter than the standard iron rotors, and they are also more effective at heat dissipation than the standard iron rotors as well. The combination of the forged wheels and carbon ceramic brakes helps reduce the vehicle's overall unsprung mass. Now, we know from previous reviews the unsprung mass is the mass of the suspension components, wheels, tires, and brakes. It's important to keep the unsprung mass to a minimum on high-performance cars, and the reason for that is this. Bumps and surface imperfections in the road will result in tire flex, thus placing a force on the unsprung mass. The unsprung mass will then respond with a force of its own. Now, the amount of movement due to bumps and surface imperfections in the road is inversely proportional to the vehicle's unsprung mass. In other words, the lighter the setup, the more grip and constant grip the car will have. That is the reason why lightweight wheels and brake rotors are highly desirable on high-performance vehicles. If you have a heavier setup, you greatly increase the chances for wheel hop during heavy acceleration and heavy braking. Under the hood of the E63 S, you will find a handcrafted 4-liter bi-turbo V8, which produces 603 horsepower from 5,750 RPM to 6,500 RPM. Now, it also produces 627 pound-feet of torque from the low engine speed of 2,500 RPM all the way to 4,500 RPM. Now, there are a few key factors that I want to point out on this handcrafted V8. Mercedes calls this particular configuration the hot inside V configuration, meaning the turbos have been placed in between the cylinder banks, and there are a couple key benefits to that. For one, the turbocharge has an extremely short path to travel from the turbo to the cylinder banks, meaning there's near zero pressure loss or turbo lag. It also results in an overall compact design and increased power and efficiency. Another important characteristic about this engine I'd like to point out is that this engine features AMG cylinder management, meaning that it's able to deactivate cylinders 2, 3, 5, and 8 under low load conditions, which would be in comfort mode between 1,000 RPM and 3,250 RPM. Now, when more power is needed above those engine speeds, those cylinders will seamlessly reactivate, and then you'll have all the power you need. Up front, Mercedes-Benz has also incorporated its dynamic engine mounts. These engine mounts are able to adapt to various driving conditions and demands of the vehicle. They are controlled via a magnetorheological fluid, which is subject to an electric current via the use of an electromagnet, which is able to change the viscosity of the fluid and the engine mounts, thus allowing the engine mounts to adapt to different driving situations. Now, with all that being said, this engine is connected to an AMG 9-speed MCT transmission, which uses a wet clutch pack instead of a torque converter, allowing for quicker shift times. 0 to 60 comes in 3.3 seconds, and you have a top track speed of 186 miles per hour. Now let's hear how that AMG performance exhaust system sounds. Now that sounded absolutely incredible. So let's close the hood and take a look at the interior details of this E63 S Edition 1. One of the first things that you will notice when stepping into this Edition 1 E63 S are the yellow illuminated door sills with AMG lettering. That is awesome. That's a very nice touch. It is details like that that really set an Edition 1 apart from the rest of the pack. The interior is finished in a smooth black Nappa leather. It's real soft to the touch. It's all over the dash and features yellow contrast stitching throughout. Coming further down, you have dual 12.3-inch display screens, carbon fiber trim with a nice gloss finish, controls for your air conditioning system, and even the clock features yellow accents. It's a real nice touch. Again, it's those details that really make or break a car like this. Further down, you have AMG lettering, push down, and you have 2 cup holders as well. Further back, you have your control system for your command system and your AMG dynamic select button, which allows you to alter different modes of the car. One thing I love about this car is the seating. It's comfortable yet firm at the same time. They feature ample side bolstering, and that's going to keep you planted in the center of the seat when driving aggressively. I also love the perforations in the leather for your ventilation and the Dynamica inserts in the seat as well. Also, the yellow contrast stitching throughout the seats adds a nice touch to it as well. Now, one thing you will notice are the exclusive gloss black finishes just underneath the headrest of the seats. That is unique to the E63 S Edition 1. Focusing briefly on the steering wheel, it's finished in a nice and soft Dynamica. I really love the way it feels in my hands. And then you have a nice black strip of leather on the top, and then high contrast yellow stitching throughout. Now that gloss black finish continues on the steering wheel as well, and the shift paddles behind the steering wheel. It's exclusive to the Edition 1. The steering wheel also features touchpad controls that allow you to navigate through the instrument cluster and the command system as well. That was first seen in the E300 when it released last year. Focusing on the door panels, they are finished in that smooth black Napa leather, followed by the high contrast yellow stitching and the high gloss carbon fiber. And the high gloss carbon fiber really makes the seating controls just pop out at you with their silver finish. The seats feature 3-position memory, 3 levels of heating and cooling as well. Further down in the door panel, you have an aluminum door handle, your unlock and lock button, controls for all 4 windows, and some storage below as well. One thing I must say about the interior of this car is that it's all been done right. Even the rear seats feature the Dynamica inserts, yellow stitching, and leather. It's just nice all the way throughout from the front to the back. Even the carbon fiber accents are in the back as well. That was a brief overview of this 2018 Mercedes-AMG E63 S Edition 1, which looks absolutely stunning in this Diseño Night Black Magno paintwork. It just looks absolutely incredible from any angle that you look at it. What is your favorite feature about this car? I would like to give a special thanks to Atlanta Classic Cars for making this review possible. A special thanks to the owner for leaving it back a few days so we could shoot this video. I'm sure you're excited to drive this car. If you like this video, please be sure to make sure and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.